What's up guys, that's GFX, aka Luke here. Today we have episode 8 of A Kewbz Life, and today we have Keaton Ellis on with us. So let's get on with the video. Keaton Ellis is a Kewber from the United States of America who started competing in 2012. Keaton is most known for his one-handed and 3x3 times, with 1 NR, 104 golds, 85 silvers and 64 bronzes. As well as this, he has podiumed in 5x5 and one-handed at US Nats. Keaton Ellis is also a WCA delegate and Rubik's ambassador. As well as this, Keaton has a YouTube channel where he posts lots of different styles of videos with cubing tips, unboxings and solves. He also has a Twitch that he streams on regularly and an Instagram where he puts out lots of good content. So check them all out. They will all be linked in the description below. So today we have Keaton Ellis on with us. Thanks for coming on.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So my first question for you is, what does kind of a typical week look like for you? So in terms of kind of work, school, life, and how does kind of cubing sit in with that?
Sure. So I do a lot of things, both within the community and outside of it. Outside of it, I am a PhD student at the University of Maryland studying economics, and I also work part-time at an auction software design and implementation firm down in Georgetown, which is a neighborhood in Washington, D.C. So typically a week will include 20-ish hours of doing work, another 20-ish hours of doing research, sort of, advancing towards my PhD. And then in the evenings, I make sure that I spend time to exercise. I exercise 6 days a week, every single week. And then I also make sure that there's enough time to enjoy some fun activities. A lot of that's cubing related, specifically competition organization related, but also a little bit of practice in there as well. So now that we've got coronavirus going on and we're all sitting in our homes all day, I'm doing a lot more streaming. I've got this like stream backdrop behind me. Stats, you do a lot of it as well. So yeah. You're sort of aware of, we're shifting from IRL things to online things. And for me, as someone who did a lot of competition organization and things like that beforehand, the transition has been actually a lot less work. I don't have to organize competitions. I'm not sending emails. I'm not reserving venues. I'm not setting up equipment and frantically shutting it back down. When I do cubing at homes, that is something that keeps me busy on the weekend. And season 1, we have been working pretty hard for, behind the scenes, trying to secure good sponsorship deals for people and for our competitors. That takes time, but it's not the same. Sort of a lot more of that is pre-comp work. And then when I get to the day of, I'm the host. And so I need to make sure that I'm there ready to be able to talk to people, but it's less work. My weekends have gotten less busy overall. That's a very long-winded way to say, what does a typical week look like for you? But
then your week's not typical.
Yeah.
So what would you say your kind of practice consists of? So I'm assuming kind of from what streams I've been in, most streams are kind of solve based, but would you say your kind of practice off stream is still solves based, or do you kind of work on techniques and stuff like that as well?
Most of what I do practice-wise is solving on stream. My thought is, if I'm gonna practice, I'm gonna stream it. That way I have a record of pretty much every single attempt that I do nowadays. Most of the off-stream practice that I do is to be honest, pretty light, but a lot of that is learning ZBs. I've noticed that the main problem with my solving is low TPS. Relative to other cubers, I'm 22. I know I'm getting old for a cuber. For a person in real life, like 22, I'm still young. I've got plenty of time ahead of me. But for cubing, I have to realize that my reaction speed and my turning speed are not what the 13 and 14-year-olds of this world are. And so I need to make sure that my efficiency is really good. And I feel like I have that quite a bit for F2L, and my inspection is fairly strong. But my AL game is not on point, and that's been pretty problematic. And so I need to work on that. And I've been learning a bunch of UZBs I'm almost done with the set. And then next up is tea, and just continue going from there.
That's good. So you briefly talked about kind of organizing events. I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about one of the events that you're going to be part of. It'll already have happened by the time that this video is released.
Sure.
The Guinness World Record attempt.
Sure. So this video is going to be published after the attempt. So you guys who are viewing it will already know whether or not we got it. But the attempt itself is something that, as a Rubik's ambassador, that I was fortunately able to announce a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was only 1 week ago. Last Friday, I was able to officially announce that. It's been in the works for a lot longer than that, though. One of the things that they're interested in doing is trying to set a Guinness World Record for the most number of people that are learning to solve a cube at any given time. One of the things that they're interested and I'm interested in as well is expanding cubing to not only just speed cubers, but to a more global and general audience. And what better way to do that than to teach them all how to learn how to solve a cube at once? So it's something that I'm really excited to do. I think spreading cubing is a good thing, not just for speed cubing, but for a more general community. Yeah. It's great to have it, have people have some sort of base knowledge of cubing, especially for speed cubing in particular, because if people are watching, you want them to know what's going on. You can compare it to other types of sports. I don't know what every single move in soccer or football is called, depending on where you're from. I don't know every single nuance in baseball or American football or football. But I know enough to be able to watch it and understand and enjoy what's going on. I mean, even within the esports arena, which I think is very related to spectator-based cubing, I have played maybe 2 hours of Counter-Strike in my life. But I really enjoy, I've probably watched 40 hours to 100 hours of professional Counter-Strike in my life. You just need to know some basic detail about it to be able to enjoy it as a spectator. And so I think introducing people to this idea of just knowing what's going on helps them understand the spectator aspect for things like cubing at homes, or when we get back to real life competitions, 3x3 finals at majors.
Yeah. Thanks. So over the years, your role has kind of switched from kind of maybe predominantly speed cubing to maybe more of the kind of organizing, broadcasting, ambassadorship. How have you seen that change from a kind of personal perspective?
I think a lot of it's natural. Like I said earlier, I know I'm getting older, and being in a position that I can properly represent speed cubing in an interesting and positive light to external communities is something that I really value at this point. But going back early on, I really always wanted to do large types of organizing. I wanted to have these competitions, honestly, mostly for myself. I wanted to just hang out with my friends and compete and see my times get faster. And so when I started entering that space, that was really my only goal in mind. But in spring of 2016, the delegate for our area, Felix Lee, ended up moving to California. And so who was predominantly a speed cube at the time, I was already sponsored by the Cubicle. They were the Cubicle.us at this time. I was focusing mostly on just trying to make sure that we were keeping competitions in our area. I volunteered to be a delegate. I told one of the local delegates, Keaton Ellis, who's up in New Jersey, which is about 4 hours away from where I live, that I was interested. I organized a couple of things, and they signed off. And since then, a lot of my role, I've been seeing a lot more behind the scenes stuff within the cubing community, specifically with regards to large competition organization. And I tried to be very ambitious after that. And I think there were some really horrible moments. There was a pizza incident that I cannot tell you about until I graduate from the University of Maryland. So check back in 4 years and I will tell you this, both you, Stats, and all the viewers. But there were some incidents at competitions that really sort of made me question that. And it's not like I wanted to get out of the space, but I lowered my ambitions for that and sort of transitioned over to, I'm not a video editor. I'm not a video producer. You don't see me editing crazy nice videos with fancy transitions and stuff for my YouTube channel. Like, it's literally just me in front of a webcam talking into a microphone. And I realized that the type of space that really catered towards was broadcasting. Being a host, being a broadcaster, mostly mostly play-by-play commentary for speedcubing, I think it is where I can do pretty well. Broadcasting wasn't really a thing in cubing up until like probably the earliest would be around 2017, 2018. I helped broadcast the finals of Euros 2018, but that was 1 hour before the competition, the 3x3 finals were supposed to start. It was, hey, do you want to cast? Sure. Who else is casting? Oh, let's get Dana. Let's get Eric Ackersteig. Let's get James Malloy. Let's get all these people together. It was very impromptu. Whereas the following year, when I went to the World Championship in Melbourne, things were premeditated. We had a plan going in. We had a list of things we wanted to talk about. We had a schedule of who was going to cast. And in 2020, unfortunately, we don't have that same type of luxury for our in-person competitions. But again, with cubing at homes, we've got a schedule. We've got scripts, like script exactly what I'm supposed to be saying at any given point. There's a little bit of leeway, of course, but the broadcasting part and community and the broadcasting aspect of cubing has increased quite a bit in the last, 2 years, exponentially. And I want to see it continue to grow in that way in the future. And I want to have cubing be a spectator sport on the same sort of level as you would see major esports titles. So I'm trying to shift both as I grow from someone who is sort of solely focused on being a speedcuber to someone who's well-rounded within the community and sort of knows what it is, but also sort of move with the times and then go towards the things that are happening in the future. And in this case, I think that's going to be broadcasting, and I'm really excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see. Moving on from that, so to just develop on that, what are your kind of future plans in relation to, I guess, cubing and your kind of role as a Rubik's ambassador? Do you have anything you can share?
So, specific projects I can't talk about yet. As they come along, I'm really excited to announce them and let you guys know about them. But at this time, there is nothing that I can publicly share about what I'm currently working towards with projects with respect to Rubik's. However, I can say in general that as I get older, I'm still going to keep practicing. There's no point where I'm going to just completely stop. But I'm being realistic with myself. And my practice time nowadays is no longer expanding across, 9 or 10 events that I used to practice. Sort of end-by-end puzzles, Mega Minx, Scube, one-handed. I'm mostly focusing on 3x3 and 3x3 one-handed, where I think that even as I'm getting older and even as the competition field is getting larger, I'm still relevant at the highest level. I'm making sure that I stay relevant in speed cubing because that's really important to me and I value that a lot. But as I get older, again, I have this opportunity to be an ambassador, not just for Rubik's, but also for the whole general speed cubing community. I always want to keep having competitions. We organized US Nationals in Baltimore last year, which is honestly like a dream come true. Holding US Nationals in your backyard is something that every child in the United States just dreams of. Like, if they're in Los Angeles, if only it was at Staples Center or something. If it's in New York City, Madison Square Garden. Well, in Baltimore, we don't have anything fancy like that. We've got the Baltimore Convention Center. But, I was able to have tons of people come out essentially to see this competition that, our community has been working towards for the past 10 years since we held our first competition at my old high school back in 2010, before I even was a student there. So that was a really good culmination of organizing and delegating. I'm not quite sure what the future holds for that for me. I'm more interested now into doing a lot more of this broadcasting stuff, mostly with major competitions, as well as cubing at home and sort of online competitions, specifically head-to-head formats as well. Man, there's something really exciting that I want to say here, but I can't say it on. I can't give it away. But maybe there's a hint there as well. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to be doing in this head-to-head, large stakes environment with speed cubing, and I see myself moving a lot in that direction. Does that mean that I want to stop being a delegate? No. I still help hold competitions in the area, and I make sure that we have a satisfactory number of competitions. But it does mean that I'm starting to lower my ambitions for huge competitions. I don't think I'm going to host another U.S. Nationals in Baltimore, at least not for a little while. Is that fine? Probably. Will there be someone else after me at that stage to talk about it? I hope so, but we'll see.
Very exciting plans for the future. I think that's all questions that I have. Don't know if you have anything. Right.
Go follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. That's the other one. Yeah. And also, you're not also subscribed.
All three will be in the description below. So
perfect. And also, if you're not subscribed to Stats here on YouTube or on his Twitch channel, please make sure to go do that as well. It has been wonderful being a guest on your. Oh no,
Keaton, this is your interview.
It has been wonderful being a guest on your podcast or YouTube series or whatever you want to technically call it, and I'm happy to be on.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dad.
Bye.